may I know whether the COA auditors will audit the expenditures and disbursements of the Department of Health and the National Task Force on COVID-19 on their purchases of various brands of vaccines, despite the invocation of the non-disclosure agreement?
Yes po, we can confirm, Mr. Chair, that mag-audit po ng lahat ng expenditures relating to the vaccines. In fact, for the information of the committee, I think 2 months ago, we already issued guidelines for our auditors in the audit of the National Vaccination Program po. So nandun po yung guidelines na susundan po ng auditors when they audit yung mga purchases ng vaccines and even actually the use of vaccines that have been donated. Kasama po yun. My understanding is the non-disclosure provisions were a requirement of the manufacturers, no, or those that are providing the vaccines. Of course, pag in-audit na po yan, I think that would be considered an exception to the non-disclosure kasi hindi naman po kami considered public, no? Ano naman tayo, this is part of our mandate. So I think pag in-audit na talaga yon, which will actually medyo nag-umpisa na rin po yan, although it's mainly an activity for 2022, makikita po natin yan. Those matters will have to be disclosed po.
Does the NDA or non-disclosure agreement violate the Philippine Constitution, which mandates COA to conduct an annual audit on the expenditures and disbursements of government agencies?
Mr. Chair, I would tend to look at the duty of the commission or the power of the commission as an exception to an NDA. Typically, although ang NDA po is really governed by whatever the stipulation states, no? But I think it's a given exception that, of course, there are government processes that have to be followed. Much in the same way, like, a contract cannot evade taxes from the BIR, no? Kahit walang binanggit doon or whatever, magbabayad pa rin sila. Yung doon sa mga kontrata po na yon, at a certain point in time, isasabit po sa amin yan, and we'll be able to see the amounts, ano. And madali naman po i-check because there are a lot of resources online where we can find magkano ba talaga binebenta yung mga vaccines po na to. So I think makikita po naman namin yan when pag ginawa na po yung audit.
In other words, the power of COA to audit expenditures and disbursements, particularly with respect to the purchase of vaccines of all kinds, is an exception to the non-disclosure agreement, because the non-disclosure agreement cannot be ascendant to the Constitution or to our domestic laws. Is that correct?
We agree po, Mr. Chair.